Hello again, and welcome to Insights with Robbie Man, episode 2. I took your feedback from the last episode. Not enough shit talking, um, not loud enough, and almost a little bit too much insight for you small brain folks out there. So I will be toning it down a bit in various departments, raising my volume, and of course, increasing the volume of shit talking. So, I hope you enjoy. This game, we will be watching over the Axis, actually. We're going to switch it up right on us before we get to see too... Oh, and Dyer's on the Allies. Before we get to see too much, we're going to be watching Gorkstar, the main player of the mod. Gorkstar single-handedly holds the mod up with his 3 hands. One hand, of course, is for playing, and the other two are for map making. So, Gorkstar, thank you very much for having 3 hands and for sparing 2 of them on making good maps for us to play, and sometimes bad maps. I mean, come on, sometimes they're bad maps, but you know, they always look good, and I always enjoy them. We've got 2 PE here, so that should mean quite a bit of blobbing, which I was warned about ahead of time. In fact, most of this game was actually spoiled for me by the player who was posting it. He begged me to make a replay about it. He said, I think Insights would be perfect for this game. He said, yeah, but he also just wouldn't stop talking and wouldn't stop telling me about the game. And, you know, to be completely honest, I think he was trolling me, like he usually is. Gabo Slayer, if you guys have ever heard of him. Again, one of the new players in the mod. Probably the worst player in the entire mod. And what an insanely boring opening we're looking at here. I mean, I'm just talking over it, but every player got to the middle of the map and they just kind of hit the stop button. No engagement and no fight for the center road. The center road on Tantiville is perfectly placed in a way that ensures crossing it is supposed to be difficult because it's open cover and both sides have a decent chance of establishing themselves on their respective end of the road. Now what you do have is on the right side, Adrian is going up against some crossovers, but I'm assuming that the Axis want to just kind of in general ignore this, and they want to push through because their side is clearly being left open. Adrian's taking 0 losses, 0 risk on his side, and the Axis already have fantastic insight on where the Allied troops are. You can see there are 2 Shermans centered through the other side of the town. They're going to take some time to try and get over here, and because of that, Gorkstar can do whatever he wants against Dyer. And Scaffa's made a fantastic decision. He's decided not to help Gorkstar when he has the twice as much troops in the engagement situation. Okay, now he's going to finally turn to help Gorkstar, and he's going to take a great shot at the MG with the Nashorn. Nashorn being one of the best tanks in the game to have in a 2v1 situation. Very little to worry about in terms of getting flanked, and a lot to kill with the Tiger-like gun on a Hummel chassis. And you can see Dyer just melting away. He had no chance. I mean, his teammates, Gabo Slayer just walked away. I mean, he rolled away because all he has is tanks on the field. And he didn't care. He's honestly heartless. Double Shrek? Pop efficiency. I love it. I do love that. That is how you play PE. PE is all about the pop efficiency. You can see all the mass DPS here. I mean, if Gorkstar ran into a single tank, because the Ostfronts are the only ones that can have, Bazooka was picked up, but the Ostfronts are the only ones that can have Panzerfausts. So when you look at Gorkstar's start, you should know immediately that you can just avoid the radius of the Panzerfaust on the Ostfronts, and you can circle strafe the Martyr. You can roll him with 2 tanks. Unfortunately, the Allies came with tanks. Just the player who used them didn't want to do that while Dire was being attacked. He wanted to wait for Dire to be attacked first, and then rush in. And now, brilliant. Just brilliant. Let's get a close-up on all the damage that Sherman's about to do. Oh! Oh no! It didn't work. Oh, what could possibly have happened? We weren't looking. We were too close to the screen. Alright, so I like and appreciate that the Axis have been working very well together so far, and I really like that they all collapsed so hard on Dr. Nick. But I think that a critical error that most teams will always make was made, and that's they did not put a capping unit in either of these sectors. That slows the enemy down from retaking the lost ground after the wipe tenfold. The enemy after the wipe has to be cautious. He's got to move slowly. He doesn't have any map control. He doesn't have any idea what he's going to run into. So what you do is you place just one squad in for him to chase around, and you have increased the time it's going to take for him to reposition himself by 60 seconds. And that's just a random arbitrary number, but I think the point should have been made by now. I also don't appreciate that they're repairing the Martyr. If you've got better things to do, unless you see an enemy tank, get the gun back on and walk away. Go put some pressure down. Right now, you know that the Allies have red and orange on this side of the field, and it stands to reason that Brown right there, Brown is coming from this angle as well. Get some units over here. Go cap their spawn. Capping their spawn at the start of the game matters almost zero for population advantage, but it matters a ton for psychological damage. I can't stress this enough. Psychological damage is a lot to the enemy. I have won a game before where all 4 enemies were playing completely serious. Well, okay, one of them kind of wasn't. I capped the enemy spawn, and they left before 5 minutes saying that one of their teammates was trolling them. That teammate says he wasn't trolling it, and that stands to reason he might have been. But if he hadn't been, that's how powerful a spawn cap is. If you just walk in and take the enemy's spawn, sometimes the enemy doesn't know what to do with themselves, and they just kind of give up. They stop being able to take the game seriously. You know, it breaks the enemy morale. Alright, so Gorkstar did something really, really uniquely interesting here. He's got 2 MP40 Ostfronts, and he took a long-range fight. Go get on top of the AT gun. Go use your Panzerfausts, because, you know, that's the only AT you brought other than a single Martyr. And maybe call for help. Although somehow the Allies just kind of walked in and stole a pack gun. I don't know what kind of disarray has been caused. I do know Scaffa is not using his units. It's a phenomenon known as playing like Scaffa, where he kind of just allows his teammates to die while he watches and maybe picks up a few kills as well. And I mean, the Nashorn's got 11 kills and is badly damaged, but the rest of these units, they're all pretty high health, considering that a pack gun almost just got away, and none of them really have any kills. So that's a little disappointing. Adrian is new to OMG Mod, quite a good player, certainly better than Gobbleslayer. Although Gobbleslayer did just pick up a pack, so I'm gonna have to give him credit on that one. It's always smart to just run in and throw guys on a pack gun. I mean, there's basically no downside. And of course, for some reason, the Axis let them. Again, like, these units don't need to be repairing a Nashorn right now. They could be... You can use your units to first capture enemy assets, or sorry, high priority assets, because the pack gun was yours, so it's not an enemy asset. You could first use your units to capture or destroy high priority assets like a pack gun, and then you can go repair your unit. Look at all this time. The Allies are satisfied. They got the pack gun. They're going to give the Axis plenty of time. They want to go get that pack gun healed up. And when I say healed up, of course, triages will heal the gun of a pack gun. So that's what they're doing right now, is they're healing that pack gun up, and they're licking their lips, thinking about all those vehicle damage kills they're going to get from Cloak. Specifically Gobbo Slayer is. He loves that shit. Gork is assembling the blob. I'm a little disappointed in this blob. I think it lacks focus. It's got G43s that I can only imagine must have slow. And I don't think that 99% of the players in the mod have the micro. I certainly don't, to use all this G43 slow. So, you know your limits. Don't bring on more than 2 G43 slows. It's just unlikely to make a difference. He's got MP40s, which means you want to get in there, but he's got them on the lowest health units, so he's probably not going to be able to get them in there very safely. And then he's got regular guys, which should be the meat shield. So that's smart. I don't know. I think he's got it all wrong though. The G43 slow plus MP40 is good in small engagements. It's not very good in large engagements. So if you're blobbing, you don't really want to do that. And the reason why that is because it's just too chaotic. Large engagements. See, the allies. It's okay me to say this, but Gobbo Slayer has done something really smart. He's done exactly what I said the Axis should do. He's gone to go cap the spawn. That's what he's doing over there. He went and scouted out a repair bunker, and now he's gonna go take the enemy spawn, and it's really gonna hurt their morale. And now they're just kind of rolling up on the Axis stuff. I think that was weak, just throwing one single M10 that the Rangers certainly could have gone with. I think the right move was use the M10 and the Rangers to shoot the repair bunker, put the Rangers in between the enemy and the M10, so station the M10 right where the Rangers are staying on the road, put the Rangers over in yellow cover over here, and now when the Nashorn rolls up, yeah, you're probably going to take a Ranger damage, might lose a few guys, but you're definitely going to get the repair bunker, which they got anyway, so fair enough. And the M10 is probably going to get to engage pretty safely in that instance. And if the enemy's still not meeting you after that, then you go roll up on them. Alright, so that spawn was taken, and look at this! Ta-da! The spawn recaptures! We've come to save the day! The enemy has kept our spawn, and we are here! Look at how over-committed Gorkstar's about to go be. And the only reason why I think these troops aren't moving is because the Axis are losing in a different area. So Gork had to go refocus on the rest of his units, which was just 2 squads. He's brought everything. This is not what you want to do. I don't want to, just spend this game, hurting my boy Gork. That guy's got 2 hands for map making. He only has 1 hand for playing. But this was a mistake. You don't need to oversend more troops than you actually need. And the only reason why he did that was because it was the spawn. And that's the last time I'm going to bring up the whole spawn capping thing. But I'm telling you right now, for the last time, that when you do this stuff, it fucks with your enemy's head way more than the actual territory's worth. On the other part of the map, we have more repairing. And the Axis, I think, are in this really dirty, gross cycle right now, where their infantry are always out of position because they're spending so much time repairing. And so when they get, oh no, what is this recloak? So the tanks end up taking unnecessary damage, which is causing the infantry to need to go repair them, which is causing the infantry to be out of position, which is causing the tanks to take more damage, which is causing the infantry to need to go repair them, you see. And now I've got probably my favorite call-in yet, again for my man Gorkstar. Oh god, Gork, why? You've got a sniper on, you've got a Nashorn on, you have a giant blob with very little AT support. You don't need a Hummel. You don't need it. It's not going to help your current cause. At best, it picks up kills, which you didn't need. At worst, you waste your barrage, and now you're down 10 pop, running around with a hyper-aggressive blob. And the Axis don't have healing on right now for some reason. That's what you probably could have brought on was a heal track, which I'm assuming he doesn't have because he's playing Scorched Earth, and Scorched Earth players usually like to take healing houses instead. So maybe set up a healing house, so that the sniper can get itself healed. Or better yet, bring a healing car, because the medic half track is critical, and I think it's significantly better. And I think only in very, very, very particular circumstances should you be bringing only healing houses. Now, admittedly, one of those circumstances is a hyper Panzer Elite meta, which is what we're seeing right now. Is we're seeing Panzer Elite players winning, and because of that, lots and lots of players playing Panzer Elite, or maybe they just like it. I don't know. But regardless, Scaffa should probably bring on his healing car if Gork doesn't have one. And the only way you can bring on a healing car is if you use your units. See, look what happened. The pack gun got its shot in. The Axis are walking across this road. They shouldn't be doing that. They shouldn't be doing that at all right now. The Axis are way out of position. Well, Rob, if they're not supposed to just walk across the road, then what are they supposed to be doing right now? Go play your flanks, your Panzer Elite. Leave a little something in the middle to hold. And go be mobile. You know? I don't like this. Yuck.
An enemy unit has fallen to our might.
You have all this map. I love Tantaville because it's the easiest map in the game to understand. You've got your sector on the left, you've got your sector on the right, you got your sector in the middle. Now, there is no reason on Earth... Oh, look at that. He just runs his own guys over. There's no reason on Earth to be fighting in the sector in the middle right now. You don't have any assets to defend. You have a Hummel, but you should probably just move that. Instead, what you want to do, go ahead and take some middle losses. Use a rolling retreat, because all the support weapons are clearly clustered right now in the middle. And go flank, collapse on them from around. You've got much more mobile units than the enemy.
Camp Populaire has proven its superiority once again.
The reason why you normally don't want to give up a center is, well, first because it gives the enemy a lot more map control, but they already have all the map control. The Axis don't have any like combat units on. You know, alright, here's another Nashorn. That's exactly what they needed. You know, they've got support units and they've got blobs. And the blobs are taking heavy losses. The reason why you don't want to give it the middle is because usually it leads to asset loss. Repair bunkers, which have already been lost, triage centers, that kind of thing. It's very easy to go take that stuff, especially if you control the middle. They don't have that, so don't fight harder than you need to for a land that you don't need. And Scaffa, one thing I'll say good about Scaffa, before I spend the rest of the game saying bad things about Scaffa, he knows his back capping. Scaffa always has a extra piece of his brain working overdrive to remember where the back cap needs to be occurring. You know, it's very critical to a game that you are putting capping pressure down on the enemy. Very few games are won without capping pressure. So the sniper has 24 kills. That's incredible, given the circumstances. Actually incredible. I have to stop telling the team that's losing that they're doing badly, and I have to tell the team that's winning that they are failing miserably at killing a sniper with no healing. It shouldn't be that hard. A really good way to do it is to walk up the middle, like the Axis has been inviting you to do, and just shoot at it. When it takes a shot, I think basically one M1 Grand shot could kill this thing at this point, maybe two. So, you know, maybe lay down a trap where you just get a few shots in. I mean, it shouldn't be that hard. So Gorka's moved across the left side. And you can... Oh, see, those were the shots. That was it. Arrow was going for it. You can see, I think, the pretty distinct lack of communication going on within the Axis, which is to say that they still haven't brought on any healing. So that communication has clearly failed. The blob is skimming the side of the map. I mean, they are literally hugging the edge, while the rest of the map goes into combat purposefully. I mean, nobody was forcing anyone to fight here. The Axis decided to move south. In fact, I think it was Gorgstar who was really helping initiate this, which is very baffling to me. He knows the rest of his troops are on the other side of the screen. Don't do that. And so basically the best way to go about this is if you want to go hug the side of the map, you know, find that lull in the battle, find that period of time that you can make use of where nothing's going on. Go hug the side of the map, then go start making other movements. That way you don't have to waste time getting there. And of course that whole thing ended up being a charade because nothing came of it. And the Rangers are going to pick up the kill on the side capper. So Skaffa's going to need to go replace those.
The enemy is weakening even now.
Oh my god. Is he finally going to do it? Get everyone in there. Don't do this. Alright, if you're setting up a healing house, just put one 4-man squad in here. You don't need to put 20 dudes. You're just asking for the enemy to roll up and start taking shots at you. There we go. Did I miss another Hummelbrush? Is that what happened? I'm a terrible shoutcaster. I keep getting begged by people like Gabo Slayer to do another one, and I keep being asked very politely by the rest of the mod, please stop doing these. And I don't know, like, whose opinion is more valuable? One megalomaniac or okay, that's enough. Nick's a great guy. I don't know why I keep doing this. I guess I'm addicted. The 9 extra P-Grunts is an interesting call. I don't know if that's what you need. More infantry you can almost never go wrong with. I guess it's probably just the fact that the Nashorn's not really doing anything, that I think it feels like you don't actually need another Nashorn. Or sorry, another set of P-Grunts, because right now the strategy of just using P-Grunts and Nashorns isn't really working out. And they're already almost losing the healing house. I think it was a bit of a waste. The Axis still have a sniper on? Yeah. So they really need the healing house to be somewhere safe. The best place to probably put it would have just been the shack. Wow, I didn't realize how bad of a map Tantiville is for healing houses. I mean, if you were really desperate, you could have put it all the way back here just to make sure you have some healing, which is necessary for this poor sniper. It's just hard to watch. And notice at this point how clumped up the allies are. I don't know what's slowing them down and making them feel like they need to be over here, but minus the fact that the Axis blobs are roaming, like, the allies don't know just how much the Axis blobs are roaming right now. So to me it feels a little strange. You know, go find that information first, then worry about having to consolidate really hard. This feels unnaturally consolidated. Alright, that Sherman needs to go. There it goes. Okay. The Axis have done them a favor. And that pack gun, fully healed, comes out of the woodwork and gets its shot in, just terrorizing Skaffa. If only it could have somehow been avoided. And I'm loving this allied mortar that is just on top of a house that the allies do not control. I don't think it would have been very hard to gain control of that. And I also don't think it would have been very hard to, before you put your mortar down, make sure that you're prepared for the inevitable Answer 4 to roll up on it. On the other side of the map, you have this extremely strange fight going on, where
Gobbo Slayers decided to directly fight the blob with an infantry blob. Oh, and that poor ranger. You could hear Nick's heart stopping for just a moment there. He honestly loves those rangers more than he does his girlfriend. I'm concerned for his future when he finds out the war resets. Every once in a while. And there goes the sniper. It's about time. I don't know what took Dyer so long to bring on the Jeeps. I can only imagine the rest of his team just for some reason doesn't even have Jeeps. A 30 kill sniper that hasn't been challenged once by anti-sniper is extraordinary to me. And the last thing you want to do is get stuck in a period of time where your sniper's not doing anything. I mean, 8 kills. Perlipter should have known better. Oh. Wow. The Nashorn gets a lucky shot in. Full MG squad. This is a breaking battle here. Let's see what the Axis do with it. I mean, that was incredible. The MG goes down. The sniper is clearly on the back heel. Okay, one more MG you have to deal with and you're through. That's it. Oh, and he's gonna go for it. Mad respect. Oh, this is it. This is it. This should be another MG. I would get this MG into the house. Another MG. 2 more MGs. Oh! Oh, that's what that was. Okay, okay. Yeah, so the recruit squad had a man left behind. I'm sure the Axis were probably just as lost as I was. This is a very successful push. I'm very proud of the Axis right now. I'm especially proud of Scaffa, who just randomly decided to finally go for it. Of course, I stopped being proud of him the moment I found out that he left his infantry half-track with double Shreks in it behind. He probably could have pretty safely swooped around and picked up the triage center during the chaos of that. But, you know, every man has their limitations on Micro. Are they going to give them another pack gun for winning? What is this? You've won the battle. Why are you risking pack guns? This was a firm Axis engagement victory. And apparently the pack gun... I mean, if they had healing to go to, I'd kind of understand, but there is no healing, and Gork knows that because it's his healing that just seems to be missing. I mean, Scaffa should bring on his medic half-track to help his teammates, but he's not... You know, it's not his troops that he's trying to get healed back up. So... I don't know, I think it's a communication thing more than anything. Panther... I don't know about that. The Axis are really not having any hard time. Oh! The pack gun goes back in the Allies' hands? God forbid they defend the thing. If the Allies win this game, I'm going to sincerely hope... Is this a... Oh, that's a shame. Maybe that's why they stopped defending it? I wonder if they knew. Oh, poor Gobbo Slayer must be crushed. It's a glitched pack gun. What a tease. Very ballsy by Dyer. Puts a medic half. They're not winning this engagement, despite the Axis' silly mistakes. They're winning off of sheer blobbing alone. Which is smart. I actually appreciate that they're winning off of that alone, because it's very expensive, and you should win off of this alone. These are the most expensive infantry in the game. Mainline infantry in the game. They all have tons of munitions poured into them, and they're just sitting on top of each other, vulnerable as hell. Of course they should win. You know, if anyone puts 30 pop into one location, it should win. The question becomes, was it cost efficient? What did you do with that victory? In this case, the Axis did nothing with it. They fought all that territory, right? They fought over all this territory. What did they clear out? I don't remember them clearing out a single AT gun. They almost handed it a pack gun to the Allies. The Allies can take these losses. I guarantee you that the Allies have plenty of troops left. Meanwhile, let's take a look at what Gork's got. 8 out of 18, that's very healthy. 8 out of 15, that's very healthy. 13 out of 16, that's extraordinarily infectious. That is a disease that will kill your team. 13 out of 16, while the other two teammates have more than half their population left. And let me tell you something, it's not his fault. Adrian has been the #1 fighter this game. I mean, how long did that Nashorn just stay in this little zone, this particular part of this open field, just sitting here? How many minutes was that? We're 30 minutes into this game, and Skafa's only high-profile assets has been a double Shrek squad put into a half-track and 2 Nashorns. Meanwhile, Adrian brought out a sniper. Adrian's brought out a Panther. He's brought out 2 P4s. The guy's putting up a fight, making sure that the allies don't just walk all over the Axis.
We have eliminated the enemy once more.
A terror propaganda tower. I like the sound of that. The Hummel is going for the sniper. I think that was the sniper dead. I'm going to be honest with you. I was about to say that was a really stupid decision going for the sniper with the Hummel. It's just silly to think that you might actually hit it in the town. But I can't help but feel like that's exactly what just happened. So, look who's got egg on his face, I guess. That's an Australian slogan for a company that is highly embarrassing for all you Europeans.
Steady up, man.
Alright. How do you play against blobs? So apparently
Enemy unit eradicated.
30 pop sitting on a zoomed in screen should win most of its engagements, right? I mean, just look at all that DPS. How do you beat it? Well, I'll tell you. Because I do this all the time. It's actually quite simple. Number 1, you never consolidate so much that if you lose, they're going to own everything. And that engagement back there was a good example of this. The allies were coming from 2 different angles, which meant that the blob couldn't get everything on top of itself. Right now, I think the allies are a little too consolidated. But number 2, go fight where the blob isn't. So right now, the blob is making their move. Totally fair, you gotta defend your land. But the reason why this is looking so damaging for the Axis is because the allies didn't prepare to take the rest of the map while this engagement was happening, and that should have been very easy given the fact that the Axis are blobbing so hard. This Hummel should probably be dead by now. All this infantry should be dead. You can see the way that the allies have repelled the attack using a far-out machine gun, which probably only had 1 man to start with. If your machine guns are set up far enough behind the rest of your stuff, they aren't going to get run over by a blob, they're going to suppress everything, and it's going to tell the blob to fuck off. The blob will fuck off, because if they walk any further forward, they're going to get suppressed, and they're going to die. And look at this. Look at this. The blob has been worn down so much that suddenly they don't have a critical mass of soldiers anymore, and they're just being walked over. The Nashorn's dead.
Unit down.
Everything I said about how to beat a blob was wrong in this instance. The uniqueness of this instance, though, is that the allies have a bigger blob of allied elite infantry. Oh, that was beautiful. 14 kills. Oh my god. I think 5 of those were from that shot, if I remember correctly. So not actually as good as you'd like to think, but that was a great Nashorn shot. You know, it would have been a better Nashorn shot if it was up when the engagement was going down, but I can only imagine it wasn't. That's what makes holding artillery so good, is if you wait until the allies have all their stuff right here, like they did for a moment, and then you artillery them at that moment, you're gonna ruin a lot of lives. You're gonna break some hearts. Look at this allied elite infantry blob. Any player who does this is a real piece of shit. He's a real piece of work. Except for Dyer. Dyer's doing it right now as well. He's a cool guy. And Gork, I love how often we're getting this screen. You can't bring any more troops on. Gork just keeps wanting to get more stuff down on here, and it's just not working out for him. The game just keeps telling him to stop. Just quit trying. God, imagine if the Allies had some tanks that they were using effectively. What a field day. That's not one.
We have
That's not a
destroyed
tank.
an enemy unit.
The Jeep. For those of you that don't know. So if you haven't noticed by now, the Allies have one piece of AT, hard AT between 3 players. Oh, I guess Skafa has this half track, which I assume has a double Panzer Treks in it. Okay, that's quite a lot better than I thought. And double Panzer Treks here. So Skafa actually has 4 Panzer Treks on. This is much less bad than I thought it was. What a sniper. I definitely agree with the sniper call. You want to try and slow the game down more. You've got your own allied elite infantry blob so that you can't just get run over. And the sniper just starts picking away at troops every time he sees them. Use them right off of cooldown. Don't wait to go find your location. Don't be cautious. That's silly. You just decloak, sit at max range, fire, 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 fire. And so Adrian's a newer player, right? Because he's a newer player, you should be able to hypothesize pretty easily that he doesn't have 2 snipers, because newer players just tend not to know how to build 2 snipers up. Great fucking Almond Barrage. Very stupid to just randomly call it on. But great barrage anyways. The stupidity part was, again, that you kind of need the barrage for in the middle of the fight. You have this big blob on, so use it in conjunction with the blob's engagements. But when you roll the dice, sometimes you hit blackjack, and my analogies are so good. Sometimes you roll dice and get a blackjack. And yeah, that's what that was. That was a more devastating barrage than the one that went straight on the enemy blob earlier. When a mortar died, and I can only assume some more rangers died. Oh, the spawn's been capped. Gorkstar, send the cavalry! Save the world! Okay, so never mind. The back cap was cut off already. Oh, that's a shame.
The enemy is weakening even now.
And look, might only have 8 kills, which is probably actually around the maximum number you can get without just playing stupid with it. But this sniper is single-handedly turning this game around. Still has 6 Collins left, still has 4 Collins left, and he's all on. Yeah, this is gonna ruin the Axis. Adrian's trying to... Adrian's dead. I mean, he's all on, he's got nothing here. Adrian's dead. Adrian's trying to put up a fight so that the map still has engagements going on instead of just being completely dead. I don't think it was necessary. I think that was a bit of a waste. Sometimes it is. Skafa is chasing around side parts of the map, securing the back cap. That's good. I think it's very necessary, but his troops need to get in there. He needs to start putting some men on the front lines. I'd be very
Lost a
curious to
unit.
find out why Scaffa thinks that 3-man Peagrin squads is better than 4-man Peagrin squads. It's much less cost efficient if you're running Group Zeal, and I think that they are running Group Zeal. Oh, see, this is how much the sniper means. He's gonna run into a triage, sprinting, and that right there was the barrage. By the way, that was a money barrage. That was exactly what we wanted to do. Full ranger squad earned. The rest of everything else was stupid, though. You didn't need to sprint in. You just needed to walk your troops up. Take the far range engagement. You would have taken horrible losses still, but the Hummel would have gotten the same amount of kills. And that's interesting. Adrian's trash talking
An enemy unit has fallen
teammates.
to
I mean,
our
he can
might.
just talk to them. I don't think he needs to full chat. Unless is he complaining about allied blobbing? Because the Axis has more than enough to deal with that. Allied blobbing is not that hard to counter. Unless it's Brit allied blobbing, but it's not. It's American infantry allied blobbing, so you throw some MGs up, wait for sprint to be down, or sorry, fire up to be down, and go fuck some shit up. Bring assault weapons. So, it's at this point I should mention that the game's over. The Allies have won. I guarantee it. In fact, I already know it. Because one of the players lost. He's dead. He's completely dead. So you can't win a game. Every player already knows this, but let me spell it out for everyone as well, just because I like to hear my own voice or something. You could lose your entire company, except for the last 40 pop, and be just as effective as a guy who lost nothing for 40 minutes, and then lost everything he had left, the rest of his company in 10 minutes. It doesn't matter how fast you go through your stuff, just as long as you have the remaining last bit of pop presence. But the moment that you start shedding the population,
The enemy is
the
weakening
total
even
population,
now.
so that your total maximum pop on the field is less than 40, you've started to destroy your team. Right now, Adrian is at
The enemy has cut down.
10. Adrian has 10 pop left on the field. So what that means is that the maximum pop, despite their non-territorial disadvantage, the maximum pop of the Axis is 90, whereas the maximum pop of the Allies, who has spread their losses more even, is 120. Well, 120 beats 90 every time. It's very, 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 very hard to lose if you have 30 pop more in an engagement. Or don't bring 30 pop more into a single engagement. Use 60 pop in one engagement, and use the other 60 to go take the rest of the map, because the Axis doesn't know what to do. And so the Axis are sitting around trying to figure out how to play the game around 90 pop when the Allies have 120 right now. And they don't know what to do with themselves, because there is no way to do that. Wow, that was a sad martyr.
An enemy unit has fallen to
Surprisingly
our might.
successful martyr in terms of survivability. Somehow just rolling up on a road. It's safe. At least for a few minutes. A few seconds. But, that was not a good martyr. That martyr is doing work you can do. I don't know what
We have lost a
his
unit.
strategy is right now. The game ended.
We have eliminated
The
the
game
enemy
ended with that
once
sniper
more.
response. You had to kill that sniper. The Axis didn't do that. The moment that sniper came on, the Axis were on. Bring your anti-sniper columns, kids. right here is like something like 475, something like that, munitions. I don't remember how much. 475 munitions wiped off the board. I don't know what it was for. The blob just kind of sat here. I'm dead. I don't know. The Axis is phoning it in more than I am right now. I would just pull. I would pull off. You've lost the game. You have 90 pop on. I mean, you probably have less. I was gonna say you have less, but they're 2 pack guns. They're actually, it's not bad units to have as your last units. Alright, let me give you the end of the game recap now, because there's really no point in spelling out anything that's going on. It doesn't matter. You have to intentionally throw a game to lose at this point, as the Allies. The Allies won because the Axis, I think, didn't communicate with one another. I think the biggest thing, and I never talked about it once, was, well, I talked about it a few times actually, but barely anything. The Axis weren't communicating over anything. That's how it looked, at least. I can never truly know. But Scaffa wasn't really using his units for the first 10-15 minutes of the game. Adrian was covering about half the map on his own. Gorgstar needed healing, and he wasn't getting it. Pack guns and major assets would go down, and the Axis were not throwing bodies at it. Instead, they were just kind of saying goodbye. It was nice knowing you, Mr. Pack Gun. Field control was abysmal. The Allies have full capped the right side, I think, 3 times now. That should probably be a warning. This is the first time, very first time all game, that the Axis have gotten this far in the field. They have had more pop efficiency on than the Allies all game, but the pressure on the Allied backfield has been virtually nothing. The Allied backfield has been completely unchallenged. Look at all this stuff. Go wherever you want with all this stuff. Just don't literally walk into an MG. Apparently where they wanted to walk was over here. And then over there, and then over here, and then over there. I mean, poor Adrian, man. 1 pop left. Oh no, he's got the pack guns too. Right now, the Allies are giving the illusion like they're running out of stuff, but I don't think they are. I think they're playing smart. They're taking this pretty slow. They're not trying to put up too much fight against the direct blob. Instead, they're going to control the rest of the map. They're running around, keeping the rest of the map pressured. They are giving up backfield assets. They just lost a medic. That's a shame, but they probably didn't need that backfield asset anyways, you know. Meanwhile, the Axis is going to have to uproot themselves. I think they're very exposed right now. Yeah, look at this. See? That's wonderful. Great gameplay. Really, really solid. The Allies have actually gone for a full flank. They have positioned themselves between the Axis spawn. You can feel how concerned the Axis suddenly are. They're just rushing forward with their infantry. And this is so depressing to see that the final part of this flank isn't being followed up on. At this moment, all of the rest of the Allied soldiers should be moving in from every single direction. Every last allied soldier should be moving in on the Axis position from every single angle. Because the entire blob just ran at one AT gun. And we're not seeing that. We're seeing Era's troops. I guess I wasn't even watching. I don't know where Era's troops came from. See, it just took a little while, I guess. Now they're doing it. This should have been happening about 10 seconds ago, but better late than never, I suppose. If this half track would just run up to this blob and just disrupt it.
Comrades report the enemy has destroyed an enemy unit.
And now they are crossing into another place that the Axis have literally never gone in this game. They're in the crossroads. I think the Axis have had one tank move over in this area. You can't win a game if you never move. Right? Side capping doesn't count. It's just sending one-man squads to go harass the enemy positions. It's critical. It's fantastic gameplay. It's disproportionately good compared to what you're utilizing, but it doesn't count. You're walking into field parts of the map you've never been before. That means fresh mines, fresh structures. You can really see the power of this bar work in action. Look how the Axis in troops cower in fear. Alright. What did the Allies do right this game? What did they do wrong? I think I went over map pressure pretty good. I love that spawn capping. Have I mentioned that yet? Their tank flames. I've been watching this Axis like blobs like running around with minimal tank coverage for so long now. I don't know how these blobs have survived. Dyer had that one Sherman that got to like I think 28 kills. Every Sherman could have gotten to 28 kills this game. And this is right now, I have such an urge to go take a look at what the Allies have, because to me, I think they still have a lot. I still think they have a decent amount. The Axis have been killing them, sure, but not enough. But based off what I'm watching, it feels like maybe they're like, where are the troops? Why is it that one giant blob can be running around 52 minutes in with 0 field coverage? Why is this possible if you still have all these troops left? This is so smart. See, remember when I was talking about how you put the guys up on the hug for the side ahead of time before you try to find the action? I love this right here. That's pre-planning. I think if the Allies had just like 1 or 2 more Jeeps that were shadowing the blob, knowing exactly where it was going and playing around it, this would have been ended a little while ago. Scouting's really important. You want to make sure you know where the blob is so you can effectively counter it. That's what has the Allies so scared, is they don't know exactly where it is. And look, there's all the stuff. You know, I'm sure there's some viewers who are sitting around going, no, the Allies are clearly out. Right, that's why this is playing out this way, but no, they have plenty of stuff. Okay, so yeah, I clicked on them. I should have clicked on them. 17 out of 21 platoons left. That's a ton of stuff left. I bet you one of them is an anti-sniper, Colin, because he didn't use his earlier. It was Dyer who had used his. Those Jeeps would come in so much handy right now if they were roaming the map. I mean, the Allies would find out that there's no Axis left. It's just one giant set of Begren's. and the game would be over instantly. I don't know why they're chasing these Pigrens around like this. You don't need to do this. You can take the rest of the map, and you can play defensively instead. Just again, make sure you're shadowing the block. Make sure you keep tabs on where exactly it is, so that way you're ready.
They've lost a unit.
What the fuck? I don't know who I'm more mad at. Orkstar or Skafa? I mean, Skafa does have to actually, like, put his troops in front of the AT, but Gork also has to realize that for some reason Skafa's not doing that, so the AT needs to roll the fuck out of the way. There's one blob. Suppressed. Alright, so if Era has 17 left, let's find out what Dyer and Dr. Nikaru have left. What is this? This is disgusting gameplay. There goes half your blob? Why? There goes the other half. Look, he was in an impossible position. Genuinely. I mean, you had no chance of winning. The game was lost 20 minutes ago. You should have pulled off. You didn't have a prayer. The moment you have 90 pop versus 120, there it is. Dr. Nick has, does it say all on? It's very hard to tell. It does say all on. Alright, Dr. Nikaru's all on, although he's the one with the fantastic bars. Okay, Dyer's stuff is just missing. Maybe Dyer's the one that's holding his team back in terms of not having enough stuff left. I don't know. I don't know why the Allies are playing so safe and Era has so many troops left. Alright, let's find out. Fog of War, goodbye. Dyer. Oh, Dyer's been all on. Big woof. Warrior team that he had left had 0 kills, that's funny. I wish I knew what Era had in those 4 last call-ins. I think he should have been the one that was taking the rest of the map. You know, one thing you always want to make sure you're asking your teammates is how much stuff do you have left? And then based off of that response, if they have a lot of stuff, you got to tell them, I want you to start getting your stuff in there. Make sure your stuff is the one stuff frontlining. You know, your stuff's the one taking the bullets. You got to take your share of the heat. If they say they have no stuff left, you know, you tell them to chill down a bit, you know. Ask them what it is they exactly have left and figure out what it is, how to play around that. And encourage the guy who has the stuff left to go be the one that is controlling the outer parts of the map, you know. Have him be the one that puts stuff in riskier situations. You know, because when they went to go capture, if they had these territories over here, if they had gone to go capture this stuff, it's possible the blob would have ran over there and killed stuff. Unlikely. But, you know, have Era be the one doing that, and then, you know, use your rolling retreat tactics, where you don't stand from land you don't need. You know, just keep falling back against the blob. Don't let them ever overcome you, you know. Anyway, that was episode 2 of Insights. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. More, ideally. And see you in episode 3.